I'm sure a lot of you that have been fans a lot longer than myself, and probably several others, know what Bride of Discord and even Daughter of Discord is about. You've heard of it, you've watched it, you've read it. And to say that, in my opinion, when I finally got a chance to see what everybody was talking about in the past couple of days, to say that the praise it gets and the love it gets is an understatement, would be an understatement, because to me, Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord, this overarching story between both stories, if you will, just proves to me and shows me that the fandom is not going to die out for Friendship is Magic. That the fandom is going to stay alive even after the show is done. That these characters, this generation, is still going to be kept strong and going to keep going strong even after the series ends at the end of the year. And this is proof, in my opinion, of that. Because I got to give credit to Disney Fanatic. I didn't know, not again, but honestly, I didn't know who Disney Fanatic was. And as you can tell, I'm doing this on the fly. I didn't know who Disney Fanatic was, but ironically, what made me finally look into Disney Fanatic, I should say, was one of my followers here on YouTube, Creative Artie, who you should follow as well, told me that Disney Fanatic was one of the people I should have added into my PMV, Time of My Life, which was a tribute video to the fandom. So, and those that helped put the series and the fandom on the map. So I decided, okay, it's got my curiosity as to who this Disney Fanatic is. But to top it all off, I was always wondering where the whole Applejack Spike shipping came from, or who started it. And lo and behold, the other day, I decided to, search on YouTube some Applejack and Spike, videos, PMVs, because believe it or not, there are some out there. And the first two videos that came up, or one of the first two videos that came up, were the Apple and Jack Spike moments from seasons 1 and 3 and 4 and 7, and they were divided into two videos by Disney Fanatic. So I'm thinking, okay, you got my interest. You definitely got my interest now. So I finally decided, long story short, to check out who this Disney Fanatic was. And I found out a lot of things. I found out that she's the reasoning for Screwball coming into existence in these stories. I found out she's the reasoning why Applejack and Spike is such a very popular ship, because of moments that she points out on that happens throughout the series. And most of all, I found out that she's a major part of the Brony Pegasus community, because she actually hosts panels at several conventions, mostly like BronyCon, BabsCon, Everfree, you name it. So I decided, okay, this has got my attention. And then, as I was looking through her channel, I noticed that she was also behind, as I mentioned earlier, the Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord series. So I decided to check that out. And like I said, if this is any proof that the fandom is going to keep going even after the series is done, and they're going to keep these characters in this generation of My Little Pony, which is Friendship is Magic, alive and well, is an understatement. Now, I will give credit to Disney Fanatic for doing one thing. She does acknowledge in her later videos of Bride of Discord, the later chapters of Bride of Discord, and during the overall story for Daughter of Discord, she does mention that a lot of what we're going to see and hear was written and drawn before season 4. So that any events that happen in these stories, we should consider taking place in an alternate universe. In other words, a universe that's very, very identical and similar to what we see now in Friendship is Magic, but with a few things changed around, like certain romances. And speaking of the romances, I can kind of tell, well, basically she has the idea for a lot of these taking place, or reasoning for a lot of these happening. You have, I think, what was it, Sweet and Elite, and the final picture in the picture montage we saw at the end of Canterlot Wedding, where she got the idea to pair Rarity and Fancy Pants together. And then what really surprised me was how she got the idea to do Spike and Applejack. And mostly the reason she got where she got the idea from, what I'm saying, is when Spike paid his debt to Applejack by saving her from the Timberwolves in Spike at Your Service. And it's like, okay, that would make sense, maybe. You know, like it's, because in a way it's like it's a very believable, if not, well, realistic situation to where you start developing feelings for someone that's actually come to your aid, and you're seeing a side of them that you've never seen before, and that's what's causing this to happen. So I'll give her credit for taking certain elements from certain elements and moments from certain episodes in the earlier portion of the series, or halfway point, I should say. Well, not halfway point, but you get the idea. The first couple of seasons, and basically saying, this is why it's going to happen, or this is why it happens, or this is why they get together, because it all started here. So I give her a lot of credit with that. But I'll say this as well, and I don't think it's any secret. That as good as this audio drama series is on YouTube, you cannot tell me that the creative staff at Hasbro didn't take inspiration for some of their ideas. I mean, I'm not trying to spoil anything for those that haven't watched these videos yet, but basically at the end of these overarching two-part stories, if you will, a changeling by the name of Mothball turns good. Now, how he's able to turn good and the reason for his actions of being good and having a heart and all that, yeah, it's kind of dark and kind of, gut-wrenching, if you will, but it does explain why this is like the black sheep, no offense, but the black sheep in the whole at the time evil changeling hive. So you can kind of, once you kind of see that final part, which is called the final battle of the Daughter of Discord deal, you'll definitely see, in my opinion, the inspiration as to why Thorax was the only changeling that turned good, and thus domino affected the rest of the changelings to follow suit. You can see inspiration came, in my opinion, from this. It came from this. Now, some people might say that's not possible, because didn't this happen before? Didn't Thorax turn to good happen before? In a sense, yes, but Daughter of Discord had been going on, had been in development, and been worked on for years. Even before and during Season 6. So you can tell that, in a sense, that the creative staff took inspiration, or it was the other way around and Disney Fanatic took inspiration, but you could tell it was before. You could tell that, this whole story of, this changeling known as Mothball turning good, the whole development and idea for it took place before the Thorax deal. So you could tell there's inspiration there. You could definitely tell there's inspiration. The other thing that you can see inspiration from as well, and it actually happened at the beginning of this year, is when Discord sacrifices himself to save Fluttershy. When I look at that, and then I see what Fluttershy does here in Daughter of Discord, it's almost like the creative staff took inspiration from that moment. It's like, here's Discord willing to sacrifice himself to save the pony he loves, or he cares very deeply for, and then in this story, this audio drama, you have Fluttershy doing the same thing. So, yeah. You could definitely tell that the creative staff, whether I think they want to admit it or not, took inspiration from some moments from both these series, and kind of melded it into their own ideas to implement into the series itself, into the actual series itself. But overall, this is a decent audio. This is a very good. I'm not going to say decent, but very good audio drama. Fan project that was done, and the people that she got involved with it, I was surprised by. I mean, one of the videos I saw was a reaction video with Dal Wilsonator, Will, aka Thespio, and Katie Patterson, aka Midnight Sonata. And when I watched this reaction video, long story short, this project is what brought them together. Because Thespio played Discord, Katie played Screwball, Apple Blossom, Big Mac's daughter in the story, as well as in the final part of this overall story arc, she played Fluttershy. So, to know that they, along with other members of the community like Keyframe, Brony Master 44, Big Apple Pie, all and others played significant parts, shows, like I say, the love and dedication they have for this show. And that even after this show is officially over with, at the end of the year, that they're going to keep this fandom alive. They're going to keep it going with projects like this. I mean, I would not put it past somebody to decide down the line, hey, let's fully animate this Bride and Daughter of Discord deal, and, make it feel like an actual episode. I would not be surprised if someone goes and creates a Patreon, maybe they're planning on doing it already, in making this happen, because it could potentially happen in the future. You don't believe me? The fans of the Sonic Satyam series have decided, the people behind the project of Season 3, as they call it, have finally decided to reinvigorate their interest in putting the animated portion of this webcomic they've been doing for Season 3 into animation mode, and they decided to restart it by creating a Patreon page, so they can have the money and everything to pay the artists, the animators, you name it, to get this project off the ground and make it a reality. And again, I wouldn't put it past anybody to do that for the Discord series. I wouldn't. And I like the overall idea that it shows you the next generation, and even follows that next generation as they grow up. So I love how they all make this happen. I love how this all just comes together. And someone that is a fan of Spike, I like the fact that what Disney Fanatic does is she allows him to age. She allows him to get older. As some people would point out, being the big difference between him and having a romance. They allow him to age to where he goes from this squeaky little voice to, hey, what's up, AJ? Kind of, deal. So it's like, I like that. I like what they did there. And I like how they have certain background characters, or, well, I wouldn't say background characters, but secondary characters play a major role, like Zecora, is able to play a role in both stories. And, she's able to comfort AJ. And AJ even brings up the difference in age, as some folks would point out, between Spike and, potential love interest from the pony perspective. To Zecora, and basically says that overall she loves him. And Zecora is able to give her wisdom and say, look, give it time. It will happen when the time is right. And eventually it does, because there is a moment at the end of the Bride of Discord story where Spike is going to AJ to get her to help him get Discord to the altar, because he's a groom that's starting to develop cool feet. And the moment Spike comes into the door and sees AJ, it's like, what was I talking about? Because he's just stunned by beauty. So again, overall, though, I don't want this video to go too long, and because I know some people don't have patience for that. But overall, I just wanted to come out and basically say that if you've not watched and seen Bride of Discord, or listened to Bride of Discord and Daughter of Discord, or even read the fan fiction that they're based upon, which was also done by Disney Fanatic, you need to do yourself the favor and do so. I'll admit, like I said earlier, I haven't watched it all, but from what I've seen so far, I've enjoyed. I have loved it, and I hope to see more projects like this in the future. Because just because a show might be done, doesn't mean, doesn't mean the fandom, the love for it is done. It doesn't mean just because a show rides off into a sunset doesn't mean the love for it does. So I hope to see more of something like this in the future. And again, who knows? Maybe someone will come around and decide to, deal with the people at this season 3 project to continue Sonic Sat AM and give it that season 3 that we've all been waiting for. Maybe they'll take the same route and say, hey, let's start a Patreon or a Go Indie site or whatever, and get the funds to get this fully animated and make it feel like it's an actual part of the show. So I wouldn't put it past anybody to do that in the future. But overall, if you've not seen Daughter of Discord and its predecessor story, Bride of Discord, you owe yourself the favor to do it. You owe yourself the favor to do it. And I think Disney Fanatic did say she has some kind of big announcement coming up at BronyCon this year that she's working on, some project, an announcement. Whatever that is, I'm sure it's going to be something people will be talking about. Maybe it might be the idea to fully animate this story, but we'll have to wait and see. But overall, I suggest you guys check it out. It's very good. It'll be worth your time. And really, that's all I'm going to say. So, thank you to Disney Fanatic for putting this out and everything, doing the job and getting the people behind her that she needed. Thank you, Disney Fanatic. Really appreciate that. And, yeah, that's all I'm going to say, guys. So, till next time, God bless, take care, and I'm out.